This is Emerson Schwartzkopf. Back in 2019, I finally put everything together to visit the biggest stone event on the globe. The China Xiamen International Stone Fair planned a big celebration for its 20th annual show in March of 2020, and I'd be part of it. I joined a U.S. stone delegation, made my application, and received a 10-year business visa from the People's Republic of China. I had my plane tickets and lodging lined up and looked forward to the first time not only for the show, but also for a country and a continent. And then everything fell apart. Less than a month before opening day in Xiamen, COVID-19 began to shut down international travel and turned us all into a world of temporary shut-ins. And the Xiamen show never happened in 2020. The show finally came back as an in-person event in 2022, but the international contingent didn't make it. China employed a strict control of foreign visitors and suspended countless visas, including mine, over health concerns. The border began opening up late last year, however, as the Chinese government dropped quarantine and vaccine requirements and eased the type of testing needed to enter the country. China also reinstated visas issued before the pandemic. After more than 3 years of waiting, my road to Xiamen opened up. The border opened up, but it wasn't easy to get to the gates. U.S. airlines are still slow at restarting flights into China, and one option almost sent me through Dubai. Finally, I found an almost straight-line route through Taiwan. The resulting itinerary created, after adding in the layovers, a 27-hour journey. And that's taking into account that I started from the U.S. West Coast in going trans-Pacific. Xiamen is a city of approximately 5 million on China's southeast coast along the Taiwan Strait, and sits on a series of islands as well as the mainland. It's been a major port city for centuries, and once was a center of China's tea trade. Xiamen became one of China's first special economic zones in 1980, and is now the 17th largest container port in the world. It's also strategically located near some of the largest stone processing and hard surface producing areas in China, so it's no surprise that the city also hosts the country's major stone event. Before the pandemic, the Xiamen Stone Fair grew to be the largest industry event in the world, drawing more than 100,000 attendees annually. The exhibit opened on a hot and humid early June day with traditional Chinese flourishes, including, a dragon, in the hope of bringing good luck. Based on the crowds that came in after opening the doors, that dragon was some good luck charm. In the 4-day run of the show, the 2023 Xiamen Stone Fair drew 139,000 attendees, or 3 to 4 times the count of a U.S. industry event. That's not an all-time record. That came in 2019 with more than 150,000, but that's close enough to declare a comeback. And okay, the last photos really squeezed people together, but the event didn't lack for foot traffic on any of its main aisles through the 1.8 million square feet of 22 exhibit halls, plus an outdoor area and some lobby displays. This is an event that first and foremost is about natural stone. There are plenty of manufactured surfaces, we'll get to that, but the selections of granite, marble, and other quarried materials form the backbone of the Xiamen event. This is far from a straight block and slab show. Major booths, and there were plenty of them, focused on design as well as materials. You could find the smaller broker-trader booths that used to make up the Chinese sections of events like coverings, but the bulk of the displays featured vignettes and designs that would be on par with KBIS in the United States or Cersei in Italy. China is one of the main processors of natural stone worldwide, and the Chinese companies do plenty of work with imported stone. You could see other countries offering blocks from farther reaches like the Dominican Republic and Iran. But the largest group of foreign vendors came from Italy, with an emphasis on blocks and other stone for final processing. Other major exporting countries included Brazil, which was right across the aisle from the stone update booth. And then there was Portugal, Egypt, Turkey, which, by the way, handed out some outstanding free coffee. And, there were quartz surfaces on display, too. A lot of quartz surfaces. Unlike other hard surface trade events, the Xiamen Stone Fair seamlessly fits in man-made materials, giving a show attendee the rare chance to compare all types of hard surfaces under one very large roof. The surfaces on display didn't vary much at all from what you'd expect anywhere else in the world. The passion for the whiter-than-white look isn't any different here. Foreign exhibitors showed up to offer quartz as well as natural stone. Those who didn't make surfaces in China made sure you knew that, just in case you wanted to sell their goods to tariff-restricted countries like the United States. The majority of foreign quartz producers came to Xiamen from Vietnam, and points of origin were clearly marked right at the booth entrance. What you didn't see were familiar worldwide brands. China is a different market, and I'll explain later there's going to be more of an incentive to emphasize that domestic production and consumption. Most of the quartz surfaces on offer came from Chinese vendors. Because of the development in China of different types of production technology, domestic manufacturing is robust. There's a good argument that quartz surface manufacturing in China is a maturing market as far as the number of companies getting into it, which explains an emphasis on design-oriented booths to draw customers on more than the lowest price. Quartz surfaces aren't the only manufactured surface at Xiamen. Porcelain slab, mostly tagged as sintered stone, took up large amounts of floor space in the artificial stone part of the event. You didn't see companies here offering a variety of large format sizes in a small to jumbo tile lineup. These were slab-only sellers showing products with distinct international style names in large, almost minimalist booths created to catch the eye of designers. It wasn't the products that stood out. Those ran mainly to the now familiar mix of white marble looks and precious stone replication, but the presentation with confidence and more attention to style easily equaled what I've seen in other countries. The Xiamen Stone Fair included plenty of machinery and tools, 6 halls of it, and some of it included the usual single-stall booths packed with blades, grinders, and pads with vendors and cutthroat competition. Other parts included items you wouldn't see at many shows, including a mineral sorting machine. This isn't the kind of thing you'd see in any fabrication shop, but it's essential for many quartz surface manufacturers in dealing with various sizes and grades of crushed quartz granules. In more than 20 years of going to stone trade shows, I'd never seen one of these before the Xiamen event. While there, I saw 6 different manufacturers. Anyone looking to build their own quartz surface line could also find plenty of components. For example, here's one way to create through vein. To be honest, it seemed a bit slow going, but it was being very precise and placing multiple shades of pigment. Other quartz surface factory suppliers appeared at Xiamen in cross-aisle competition, including large-scale pieces like the polishing line in the back of this booth. Again, the presentation of full slab production lines isn't something you'd see at most events. Xiamen does offer plenty of CNC machines, with some offering sawing and milling options. Waterjet combo options were very few and far between, although several standalone waterjet manufacturers were on the floor. And then there's tooling, which took up 2 of the smaller halls, and if you added up the space, about another 1/2 of a large hall. Not everyone shoved all their wares into a single stall, mainly because they had something larger to sell, like really big circular saws for large rough work and multi-strand diamond wire cutters for block-to-slab production. Few recognizable names appeared, scattered few and far between. Nearly all the machinery and tooling came from Chinese vendors. And this shouldn't be a real surprise. China is the leading country worldwide in supplying the full quarry to countertop production chain, and it's supporting a vast production effort. A feature of past Xiamen stone fairs were the special exhibitions of stone use that went beyond countertops and cladding for buildings. The 2023 event offered two fascinating presentations. Stone Infinite times Stone Design in New Period, that's the name, focused on everyday items that went far beyond the everyday look. The resulting table lamps, end tables, and other items showed some unusual takes with a practical touch, although anyone would have a tough time finding a matching outfit for the pink handbag. The Habitat Interior Design exhibition, meanwhile, centered on the theme of stone and space. The presentations range from fairly practical to dimension-bending approaches in mood-setting environments. For the most part, the Xiamen Stone Fair looked like any other major hard surface event. Walk down any major aisle and you get the feeling that you could be in Italy or Brazil or India or the United States. And then you don't. The Xiamen event is a big event, but then again, what isn't big in China? Even Xiamen itself doesn't make the top 30 list in China's ranking of cities by population. In the United States, by the way, Xiamen's total metropolitan area of 7.4 million would place it fifth, slipping in just ahead of Houston. The count of 139,000 plus attendees is more than a fluffy estimate. The event has some of the strictest controls I've seen to get in a show, with badges needed to open the visitor gates. Unless you're an exhibitor, where a photo sent before the show allows you in via facial recognition software. Entrances are also reminiscent of airport security, as all bags carried into the show go through X-ray machines and attendees walk through metal detectors. And just about everyone managed to be wanded by security staff. It's understandable that the mix of nationalities is going to be different. 1 out of every 10 attendees, however, comes from outside China. That's about half the total seen in the last pre-pandemic event in 2019. But given that transport to the country isn't anywhere near pre-pandemic levels, it's a good showing. Even the mix of attendees from outside China is different. U.S. citizens were rare. When show staff filmed me on the second day of the show, the interviewer noted I was the first American she'd found. The mix included surprises you wouldn't find elsewhere. On the shuttle bus from my hotel to the show's opening, for example, the main language wasn't Chinese, or English, or even Italian. It was Russian. The event also included more bits of culture, especially in references to Chinese culture by many exhibitors. These kind of displays are common at other shows at pavilions organized by a country's trade delegation, but there seem to be more of these in Xiamen. The Xiamen Stone Fair is an international show, but the main appeal is to Chinese trade professionals and designers. That's going to continue for at least the next few years, as the Chinese government is now looking to emphasize internal economic growth to benefit China's population. You don't have to go far to see what's in store. In fact, you could look right across the street from the exhibit hall. Huge residential buildings seem to be popping up all over Xiamen. The city sits on an island, so real estate here is at a premium, but even the surrounding mainland area shows expanding areas. China will continue to be a large international player in hard surfaces, but it's also going to pay more attention to internal consumption as well. Before I leave, let me give a quick shout out to Mina, the student translator assigned to me for the event. She helped me through myriad questions from attendees, introduced me to bits of everyday cuisine, and helped me through some baffling language and technology obstacles. I wish her well in her English language studies. This year's Xiamen Stone Fair also marked my first time in China. Both the event and the country proved to be enlightening experiences in seeing the full breadth of China's hard surface industry and an all-too-quick immersion in a society intent on mobility in a number of ways. You can't get a good handle in just one go, so I'm looking forward to a return visit in 2024.